All right, welcome to Paranormal Discord first podcast. I'm Roy Remark. He is Michael Papp,
Hello.
and we are paranormaldiscord.com. We where
We are science. We are 70% scientifically sound, backed by 30% of humor and comic relief. So, what to expect? Well, we're going to tell you the little ins and outs of the field, a little bit about some of our own engagements.
we are first and foremost we are legitimate paranormal researchers, investigators. We both come with years of experience from various types of groups, various groups. Uh, we are the type that when we go into cases, the first and foremost thing we do is we're scientific. We try to debunk. We do all the standard stuff, and then once we're past all that, we try to bring in older belief systems. So we'll bring in tarot cards, Ouija boards, witchcraft, um, esoteric, other esoteric means. But we always try to do our experiments and get documented results to try try to prove the paranormal. I mean, as much as much it can be proven. Unless something comes and dances in front of me and says, "Hey, I'm dead and I'm a ghost and here I am."
I still wouldn't buy it, but you can take it. We are skeptical. Are we skeptical that paranormal activity is happening around us? Yeah. Are we skeptical that most of the pictograms and photos and
all the ones with
videos
arrows and pointed all over and
with arrows? Yeah, basically, if it's fuzzy or has a red box on here and says this is a ghost, bullshit.
Right on. I mean, no, you know how many times I see that? You go on the internet, you're gonna see that stuff. It's all over the place. First thing I'm gonna do is like, seriously, if it's a ghost, I don't need 40 arrows pointing to it saying, "Here is my ghost," especially one that's all blown up and fuzzy, saying, "You see the dark shadow?" I'm sorry, you blow up any picture, you're gonna see a damn dark shadow. Absolutely. You know how many times I've seen that? Even friends will come up to me and go, "Look at this picture. I blew this up. I was on vacation on some hot spot, and here's a ghost." I'm like, you just expect me to believe that they follow you 2,000 miles on vacation? No, I don't expect that. Stop looking at me like that. I don't expect that at all, and that's just not feasible. So, beyond that, it's just something that is a passion of both of ours. We go into every case looking for it. I've had some cases that are better than others. Obviously, we've been on so many cases together. We don't know, but even before I met this bald guy sitting next to me, I had some pretty interesting stuff happen. But even then, looking back on it, I sit there and go, did it actually happen?
No, being investigator, we're fraught with constantly looking at past experience and saying, did this really happen? Was it transcendental?
Anyway, so regardless of what happens, I I am a see it. I need to see it to believe it, right? So again, like you said, even if a ghost jumps in front of you, you're probably not gonna believe it. It could be Elvis sitting there singing "Blue Suede Shoes," and I'm probably not gonna believe it, man. That's just, I don't know. That's my nature. That's how I've always been. I question everything. There's the only reason I got into this because I'm sitting there going, "Hey, does this crap actually exist?" And yeah, I'm always open to the possibility. There's some stuff that happens. I mean, since we started doing this, we have stuff follow you, or I'm assuming follows you because I've had footsteps at home now. I've had doors closed. Even here, we've had whistles. We've had.
Okay, I mean, I have to agree there. I'm relatively new to the field. 5 years in. And prior to 5 years, did I ever see a ghost? Absolutely not. Have I ever seen had strange?
What were you looking for ghosts?
No, absolutely. Not really. I went in spooky rooms. I got scared like a little kid and ran out. Nowadays, I'm like, being an investigator, I definitely feel that there has been times where it appears things, maybe got attachment, blah, blah, blah. Do I have proof for it? Absolutely not. The only thing that I could say is that, in my mind, these things happen, and that's one of the greatest, debates in the paranormal field, in the first place. Are we really dealing with, phantasms and, ghosts, or are these just perceived interpretations of our mind? We put ourselves in a spooky situation every time we go on a case. Is it just that, our mind is altering where it's like,
Right.
you watch a scary movie, you see scary
Okay,
things.
so but we go into these places knowing it could be haunted, right? So you already have it built into your mind, and then when someone tells you this is what is reported at the house, obviously you're going in going, oh my god, okay. So and for some reason that I'll probably touch on a little later, people like to investigate with the dark off, with the lights off. So you're in this dark room, you can't see crap in front of you.
You
And
talk to
you're
a
hearing,
client.
yeah, and you're hearing sounds. You know what's going on in the house. You're hearing odd sounds. Of course, if there's nothing going on, you're gonna hear the pipes, and you're gonna hear wind. You're gonna hear windows. You're gonna hear the house settling. You're gonna hear all this stuff. And the first thing that ever goes off in anybody's mind is, "Oh my God, did you hear that? I think I heard something." Or, "Oh my God, I just saw a shadow darting at your feet or at my feet." Oh
Yeah,
my
and
God.
it just basically populates the room, and next thing, the next person gets scared, and the next person, and then you have four fucking quivering little babies in a room, all saying that they're paranormal researchers, and it's freaking floorboards creaking,
Right. Well,
and
I completely agree with you. But the first thing, and you know what's the first thing in my mind is, why do it in the dark?
because I'm really ugly with the lights on.
You are, and the fact is
But
that I have to keep looking at you scares me every second.
I mean, personally, most of our clients, when they say they observe something going on in their house, it's not in the dark. It's random times. It's when they're in the bathroom, with the lights on. It's when they're going to get a cup of water in the kitchen. It's when they're cooking. These are when they observe it. It's during their
Natural day.
Yeah, natural day. Daylight, early morning. Does it happen at night? Absolutely. Now I'm not saying that okay, turn on your lights, every single time. I said change it up. Do a case, where it's dark. Do a case with the lights on. Explore every possibility. I mean, can things happen at night? Yeah, if they can happen at night, they're going to happen during the day. Don't resort to just the same old tactic that the friggin' shows and movies put on to give you that scare effect.
Well,
Because that's all it is.
Okay, so you bring that up, right? So TV does this things where ghost adventures, ghost hunters, everything does it with the lights on. They do it because it's television and it's scary, right? Because if anybody did a show with guys just sitting on a couch in the middle with the lights on, it's pretty damn boring.
A lot of them do it in the dark too because you don't see the friggin' actors moving the friggin' lampshades closer to them.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's speculation. All right, your speculation, dude. I'm not gonna say, but everybody has to keep in mind that is pure entertainment. It's just there to make money. Just like these guys, and you'll see people say there are professional ghost hunters. There's no such thing as professional ghost hunter. All right, people on TV are paid entertainers, right?
Yeah.
People that go to cons and they get paid to speak, they're either paid actors or they're paid entertainers because you're paying to speak. Nobody gets paid to ghost hunt. Nobody gets paid to do it. You do it under your own free time. Now, groups that charge people to go out to their home, that's just wrong, and I consider that fraud.
Now, here's an interesting question. And, okay, we don't get paid to do this. Why do we do it?
We do it for the love of it. I have that burning question inside to say, is this real? Because, okay, this is the way I look at it. I look at it for anybody who is either on the fence or believes, and I can sit there and either A, I can prove that there is an afterlife. That could affirm that there could be a God for everybody. So anybody who doesn't believe, if I can prove it, they might go, "Oh my God."
So
there is an afterlife.
We're looking for answers,
right? And then, but if I can sit there and prove that there isn't one, I can sit there and say, for definite proof, there is no afterlife. I mean, I hate to do it, but that could also change. That could also sway people and go, you know what?
Personally, I think it would be good.
But I mean, what we do, people treat it as like entertainment or a joke, or they just do it to get paid or whatever. And a lot of people do it. It can have serious ramifications if it's not done properly. Because you can seriously, it's like people knowing that aliens are real. They could seriously alter people's lives.
Oh, it changed the course of humanity.
Right. So, I mean, you're talking throughout history, people believed in, like, the river Styx. People who didn't have the coins to pay the boatman. They're stuck. They're stuck. They're stuck in between, and they're considered ghosts or spirits, right? That anything like that, you're basically tossing away all the older religions, everything, or you're proving them true, right?
Yeah. The only good religion is one that is acceptable to change. Now personally, just because we don't find something in the afterlife doesn't necessarily, I mean, it'll definitely alter the way we think about religion and everything. But you know, who knows? It can change. It can adapt. I am a complete atheist. You know, you know, I love religion. I think it's great. It brings communities together. Do I believe in a higher being? Absolutely not. You know, I adapted my life though. I'm a moral man. I still have my, you know, Christian values. You know, if you like to say, you know, I don't like killing people because I think it's wrong.
Yeah,
I don't, you know,
yeah.
and we don't want to get on the, you know, the topic of religion.
Morals and
You know, well, we're basically just saying that paranormal research, if not taken lightly, can have ramifications that can hinder.
He means seriously.
You know, society. You know, so you know, we really want to, you know, why we actually got around and like designed this group is that, you know, we want to exchange ideals. We want people to speak out. We want to hear from everything. We want to hear from religious sides. We want to hear from, you know, mentalists, you know, whatever you want to call yourself, you know, every possible religion there. You know, we want you to bring everything to the table. Let's have a roundabout and, you know, actually discuss important paranormal ideals.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't, you know, our ideology is real simple. We're skeptical. We're going to search everything. We're not, you know, biased to having a mutual understanding across, you know, all boundaries though.
Okay, so, what, while this is all true. I mean, we take this very seriously, but while you're doing it and you're investigating, you find a lot of things that people do that make absolutely no sense. Kind of like the dark thing, but you find things that people do and you go, why do you continue to do something like that? So, in the end, we are very serious investigators. I do a lot of research. I do.
Well, now, you brought up some good points, but like, let's. I want to talk that, you know.
Right. So I do a lot of research, but in the end, when you find things that don't make sense, you end up kind of making fun of it, right? So we don't say while we take our research seriously and the actual investigating seriously, we also take time to kind of poke fun at it a little bit, and hoping that it will spark some change, right?
I mean, humor is a fundamental, you know, method of change. You know, we're not here to be, you know, overly like condescending. You know, but there are some things that we just get a complete laugh at, and you know, it's
a lot of things.
you know, just to name a few.
A
A few.
for someone who could talk. Well, I mean, okay, so you can start. I already said something. Why would you do it in the dark? It makes no sense to me. You know, you can do half and half investigations. You can do it in the day, and I can understand some clients are only available at night. Okay, that's fair. All right, but you've got serious amounts of money being spent on equipment, right?
Oh.
Equipment that makes no sense. Okay, so we agree that your equipment that you need, really, if you besides your eyes and your ears and your brain, the most important thing is like a good audio recorder, a camcorder, maybe, and that's really all you need, right?
Yeah.
But you've got
Ovuluses.
Ovuluses,
You know,
don't even get me started on ovuluses and spirit boxes, and you've got REM pods, and you've got K2 meters, and you've got all these things that you could spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on. Some people have totes and totes full of equipment,
and
they have no idea how it works.
These items are wonderful. They're designed perfectly for what they do, and that is to steal and rob your money. You know, do we have them? Do we use them on cases? Absolutely, because we bought into the gimmicks too. And the reason is we wanted to experiment with them. Well, you know, they claim a lot. You know, have we had some interesting experiences with them? Yes, but with the device being, you know, some of the devices actually being so kind of I don't want to say scientific, so complex for the thing, you run into problems because when you get evidence, okay, well, this device does 7 different things. What are you going to be narrowing it down to actually say, well, this is evidence for? So, you know, some of the simpler devices, K2 meter, you know, what does it do? It tests EMF. Real simple.
But what I mean, real quick, when we're touching on EMF, what does EMF do? What is it caused by? Right? We have electricity.
Electricity, right. Any current that is generated is going to do an EMF field.
So people there's one TV show in particular that uses a lot of EMF, and you probably haven't seen it, but it's called Ghost Asylum, right? The one that did the live exorcism, whatever. Yeah. But they walk around with K2 meters, and every little blip is supposed to be something paranormal.
It's a ghost.
Right. But people don't understand is EMF exists everywhere. I mean, we have the electricity grid everywhere. It exists almost everywhere you go, unless you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no reasonable explanation for it. But there's almost always a explanation for it, right? Now, if you get an EMF blip and you get something else going off and you may hear something,
Absolutely.
there you go.
You know, it's like, you know, when we're looking at any kind of evidence, I'd like to look at, you know, several different mediums of the same evidence. And what I mean by this is like, okay, you know, EMF spike. Does it do anything for me? Absolutely not. Okay, but I get an EMF, you know, a spontaneous, you know, reaction to that, you know, effect that caused the EMF, you know, a possible, you know, audio file, a possible, you know, video file. All these, you know, in conjunction can add up to something that might be, you know, extraordinary or, you know, paranormal. You know, but in the end, when all I have is an EMF spike, that's all I have. I look at it as simply, okay, there's an electromagnetic field here. Now, I'm not going to ascertain whether that is a ghost generating that EMF or the electrical wiring in the walls. Okay, we have to do, you know, research on it. You know, where was I when this EMF went off? Did the EMF move? Is there a Wi-Fi in the house? You know, I mean, there, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree completely, especially Wi-Fi. People don't understand that. You walk into a home and you're getting stuff. Wi-Fi also senses off, right? So first thing you do is you can ask the homeowner, "Hey, can we unplug your Wi-Fi while we're in here?" Right? It should be one of the first things you do. But I want to go back real quick, and I want to know: do people? Because I run on this constantly. Do you actually understand what the word paranormal is supposed to mean or what it means?
Please explain.
It's a blanket term for things that are unexplained, right? So anything that's paranormal, people use that word so often that I think it's overused. Anything that happens that's unexplained, like, oh my god, I heard a knock, it's paranormal. Oh my god, I heard something fart, it's paranormal, right? It's an overly used term that shouldn't be used as much as it does. I mean, it's used so much that the word has lost its meaning, right? Because everything's paranormal nowadays.
Well, paranormal, you know, everyone that hears the word paranormal, you know, automatically, instinctively apply that supernatural element to it. It's not.
No.
You know. Let's just say, you know, everything's, you know, not explained. That noise, what was it? Well, it was a noise. Okay, that's explained. What made it? All right, you know, unexplained. Is it paranormal? Who's to tell? You have to have something more. You know, one piece of evidence doesn't mean crap.
Right.
Okay. If it's not in conjunction with, you know, some kind of other element or some kind of research backing this, you know, if you know, an interesting possibility, you know, like, you know, we put ourselves in a Faraday cage. You know, we rule out every possible EMF in this cage, and we bring in meters. And next thing we know, we're getting a honest to God, you know, communication in a Faraday cage. All right, that's kind of interesting, but is it still?
Well, I mean, but who proved that ghosts emit EMF?
The makers of.
Oh, that's right. Nobody did. Because any equipment that you buy, most people don't do research on stuff before they buy. We are friends with the equipment manufacturer who will tell you that people don't look before they buy.
No.
So
they see it on TV.
Right. So most people have no idea how to use, especially like the multifunctional K2 meters. They have no idea. They have no idea how to read the gauges. They have no idea the differences of the gauges and the ranges and what they mean. Yeah. And if it's totally spiked out, hey, you're probably going to get cancer from it.
You know, those meters run on axon. You know, so you can actually have, you know, if you have a single axis, you know, you're only picking up the one dimension. You know, if you have a multi-axis, you know. So, I mean, there's tons of different parameters that people just don't understand with devices that, you know, result in, you know, tons of user error just causing.
Do you know what I use an EMF meter for? Maybe a pre-sweep.
You know, I use it as a paperweight on my desk.
You know, well now. So because we have all this damn equipment, and over the years, let's say you have an EMF detector, you have a REM pod, you have an Oculus, you have a camera, camcorder, audio recorder, and slews, DVRs, and all this other crap. What do you end up using on every case?
my ears, my eyes.
Well, that, and if any equipment, you end up grabbing unreliable. You grab your camera, your camcorder, and maybe an audio recorder, right? That's what I've resorted to. I was the one who, before I really knew what I was doing, I bought all this equipment, and I've kind of downgraded over the years. But I bought the Spirit box, and I bought all that stuff, and now I grab the same 3 things every time: camera, camcorder, audio recorder. That's all I use. Everything else stays in my box. I don't even know if anything even works anymore, right? People love to rely on equipment made, and if you read it, there's a fine print that says for entertainment purposes only. Every time, especially that Ovilus. Ovilus, the thing that irritates me most is probably the Spirit box. The thing that sweeps through radio channels, right? And people get any blip of, when you're sweeping through radio stations, you're eventually gonna catch some that have audio on them, and you're gonna hear that blip, and they're go, "Oh my God, what did you say?" They're probably the single most irritating thing that I hear, because people hear that any little blip is someone trying to talk.
My take on the Spirit box, if you really want to have one, go sit in your car, put a channel on, and then start hitting the scan function on your car radio.
No.
Okay, so every time you hear the first, sound, skip to the next one. There you go. You got your own paranormal experience in the.
Now, as a suggestion right off the bat, if you want a ghost box or a spirit box, hey, screw something that sweeps through channels. Why don't you do what they used to do. This is how it all started. People got a radio, and they left it on a static channel. One channel. Nothing, dead channel, no anything on it. And that's how they got voices. This is the guy that created this, that's how he caught it.
White noise generation.
Right, and I've had several discussions with people I had a discussion with one guy who said, I'm comparing the difference between a supermoon and a regular moon with a spirit box. And I messaged him and said, dude, this is not scientific. There's no science involved in this. There's no proof. There's no any evidence you can really gather to differentiate between this. I said, why don't you try using just a radio with one channel on it? Leave it on one channel. And you know what his answer was to me? That's not paranormal.
Now, if I took a spirit box, if I was going to design one, I would have one that friggin' recorded the incomplete sound of that channel that it was inherently turned to. So if I had voices overlapping voices on a single channel, okay, that might be interesting. But if I had a digital, audio file that said, all right, we went to a news channel and it said, today is, and it showed me that complete readout, and then when I played back the little clips, I could come, well, that was him just saying that. That was just him saying that. That would be interesting. Can't be done as far as I know, but that would be an interesting device. As for it's in its current state, it's garbage to me. It really is.
I believe mine doesn't work anymore because I think we threw it on a video.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's what it means to me. I mean, I paid $80 for it, $90 for it, and it means nothing to me because it's garbage.
How much does a little audio radio cost? It costs about $2.
Yeah, I could have bought one today for $2.
But anyway, and we don't want to downplay all equipment. We're not trying to bash them. The problem is that what they're designed to do and what people think they're designed to do is completely different. So, and when you're under cases, read the information, read exactly what it does. Any tool, any object could be used as an investigation device, but you have to have the know-how and the intelligence behind it to say, well, this is what this is only doing. You don't want to read into anything. If paranormal investigations are going to be considered ever real scientific, exploration, we have to start acting like intelligent people. We have to start ruling out, what is really evidence? What caused that? You need more. You need the know-how behind it. And we a lot of, let's be honest, a lot of people out there do not have the know-how to even, utilize the device. Right. Yeah. They don't read the backing of it.
Well, I mean, before you buy, really. So I'm interested in a REM pod, right? Before you buy it, you should actually do exactly what you're saying, but do it before you buy it. So Know
So,
what you're
so
buying.
what does a REM pod do?
Know what you're buying. It's supposed to show if a ghost is nearby, right?
Okay, and it uses a static technology
Right.
that
So if something
picks
gets
up,
in the proximity of it, it's
you
supposed to
know,
light up and say, "Oh, there's a ghost there."
but it detects static. So generally, why it goes off when your hand is next to it is because we,
Generates
exhibit
sound.
a static charge.
Right.
If you take, say, like a wooden pole and bring it near it, it's not a proximity tester.
Right.
Okay, so you know, objects being placed to it doesn't trigger it. It has to pick up, something that generates static. So it's
And people cannot.
now here. Do ghosts generate static?
Well, we don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. So to me, it's
So
even if it goes off, how can you prove?
So I'm spending. What you're saying is I'm spending $150 on something that I have no idea if it actually works.
Absolutely.
So why should I spend that or $1,000 on a Kinect camera? If anybody knows what Kinect is, obviously it's a game. It was made like Xbox, and you can stand in front of the camera and play your games.
All it is an infrared camera, and it has a little bit of freaking
with the little bones stick.
Yeah, it has a little bones character, and it basically tries to map a stick figure onto proposed movements in the environment. Okay, a tool like that to me, I'm not horribly against. I mean,
it's interesting.
It's like, well, at least that, someone can look at the diagram and say, hey, if I see a figure walking around here, and then they see something in the picture, you might have some kind of backing.
Okay, but so being a relatively new technology, it is at least $1,000, if not more than that, right?
Absolutely, the modified ones.
Okay, so again, you're paying for $1,000 for something that you don't know if it works or not. So that's what I'm saying. So just
most of the products work for their intended target. You know what I mean? So
there are some equipment that works great. I mean, you have some add-ons. A friend of ours makes a diode, right? And I love this idea because you can actually plug it in your recorder and you don't hear everybody talking. The idea is only to hear if a spirit is talking.
Yeah, what it's basically doing is subbing, a speaker for a crystal diode.
Right, but I love the idea. And they're relatively affordable.
It's an interesting device. Does it, pick up paranormal?
Debatable,
but what's interesting about it, when we did a couple of investigations about it, we ran a standard recorder. We ran one with the diode. We did it at the same time. We did it in the same area. We were trying to see, if we picked up, differences, in audio. And then, from what, the initial testing that we did. I mean, it was completely different. The diode, definitely picked up static. Not saying that it doesn't have, the possibilities of picking up other things, but that's what we got on the initial run. We got our voices on the one, and that was about it. We have to go keep on exploring.
Yeah. Now, all right. So depending on the type of investigator you really want to be, whether you are already or you're looking at it or you're interested, it doesn't depend if you actually want to buy equipment, right? So if you're trying to be a medium, you're going to buy all this equipment.
No, you don't need to have the equipment because you're attendant to the stars anyway.
So, I mean, it just depends on. It's also going to depend on the kind of group you're in. So if you're going to be in a completely scientific group, obviously they're going to have tons and tons, i.e., ghost hunters, right? Because these guys have cases and cases and cases.
Equipment.
Ghost Adventures does the same thing. I like that show only because of the new equipment. Beyond that, not really anything that I want to enjoy. But you have to decide the kind of person you want to be, right? So you want to be scientific, absolutely, that's what you need to do. But you also need to pick the right group. So,
there's tons of groups out there. I mean, do you want to be like, okay, so, you got your scientific group, you got what I like to call the group of feelings, which pretty much, you take a psychic, you take a Methodist or a mentalist, a spiritualist, you throw them in a room and, basically they all bicker what they perceive.
Right, and that's it. I feel this is happening. I feel that. And I'll give them credence if what they say turns out to be true or some things happen or things like that. But what's the probability of it really being right?
You know, it's an eye to beholder. I would have to say.
Exactly.
It's like personally, if I walk into a group and the first thing I hear is, "Do you feel how heavy the room is?"
Yeah.
I tend to walk out really disgruntled. I have no problem with personal insight.
No, absolutely.
The
not.
problem is, how do you test personal insight?
Right.
The only truth behind it is that person saying it is believing it. And you get a gaggle of them in one room. It's pretty unbearable for me personally. When I'm looking for a group, I want to take different takes. I'm not saying okay, you feel there's demons in this house. Good for you. If I had that ability, maybe I would be, right on board. I don't. Okay, so when you say the room is heavy, I'm like, well, take your sweater off. I don't know how else to explain it. To me, that is not scientific. There's no basis to that. I've never, walked into a room and had air to cut. And I've been on a lot of cases. Oh, the air's so heavy in here. I feel a dark, evil heaviness.
And you're standing right next to the person going, what the heck are you talking about?
It's...
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying it doesn't have its purpose. The problem is that you have to have openness and a willingness to observe, everything. When someone says that, I take it and I make a mental note of it. Okay, and then the first thing that I am looking for, when I go into that room, well, what is making this person perceive that there's a thickness in the air? Am I actually seeing a mist develop? Am I seeing, a presence? I'm looking for, the physical manifestations that, any normal person that doesn't claim to be a, special child, we'll get on to indigo children and the lucky 4 people, but honestly, I'm not special. I am
that
just,
is for sure.
I am a simple person that, has law enforcement, background that is really looking for, the possibilities of paranormal. So, you tell me the air stick, I'm going to see what's causing it. Okay, now, is my approach the absolute best approach? Honestly, you take 4 people that are all like-minded scientific belief, okay, things can get really boring because all you're doing is no, that's not, no, that's no. And, I like to engage. I like to try, different things. We're complete skeptics, but I love playing with Ouija boards.
Absolutely.
Why? Because, honestly, it gives me a little bit of excitement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it scientific?
No, I mean, you're probably not going to think it's scientific unless the thing moves on its own. I think
you can design anything to be scientific. It's how you take the object and what kind of setup you're doing in an environment. So it's like if I take a Ouija board, throw it down there, and I put 4 people on here. Let's see what kind of information we get. Right there, you rule any fundamental possibility that this is actually scientific, because for one thing, you got 4 hands touching there. So there's 4 variables right there. It's you got to cut it down. My scientific approach to a Ouija board, throw it on a table, command it to be friggin' moved. If it moves, it's black and white, something happens.
There you go.
And I'll still try to. I mean, we had cases where we appeared, an object possibly moved.
Which one are you referring to? The bench?
What's it?
The bench?
Yes, on a bench of
right,
now this is the problem. Okay, I perceived doing this. The first thing I said, okay, my eyesight has been focused.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before you let's set this up for a second. We're doing a museum kind of thing, right? And you're on one side, I'm on the other, and there's there's a giant bench in between us, right? And we heard, of course, we're doing it in the dark because that's what everybody does. But we hear a sound in between us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And all right, so we hear this, like a grinding sound of it was kind of metallic, metallic on concrete kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we turned the lights on. We kind of looked what it was. The only thing that we found that kind of made that same noise, I believe it was kind of like a workbench or
Yeah, it was yeah, something like that.
and that's the only thing that we perceived. Now I have no other information other than a noise that we both heard right between us moved. None of us were in the exact area for us to, by accident hit it.
No, it was just the two of us in it.
I mean,
but we can't say again. Was it interesting? Oh yeah.
But
was it paranormal? Well, of course we can't say it because we have the lights off, so we can't see anything. We just heard the sound in between us. Now the only unfortunate part of that night is it was raining outside. If you recall that night, it was raining pretty good. Yes. So I know we. So
there's another variable, but
I mean, raining in Arizona is pretty common, right?
As common as ghosts are in the attic, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, it's something difficult to prove. I know we've had some experience. I've had one where I walked into a closet and I heard someone breathing and I thought it was Michael sitting in the closet and I went to look and say, "Oh, I'm sorry for disturbing you." Shine my flashlight over and there was nobody there.
Yeah, I mean, but these are all tales. But this is what keeps us interested in the paranormal.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, everyone has them. At least if you dwell long enough. I mean, there's things I cannot explain.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, and you're right. And that's exactly what keeps me going because when I find that one little thing, or I believe that something happens, if I believe something happens, it keeps me going. But I have that drive, so I like to learn. So I'm the kind of person that goes above and beyond. I read all the different books. I it's probably the wrong thing to say, but I kind of try to invite it in just because I want something to happen so bad.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm to the point now, and I think we're both like, unless we're like slapped, picked up and thrown, or something actually happens, it's kind of hard for me to.
I mean, it's like that's the dream that I always want. It's like all these people tell me these tales. Everyone has these experiences. I want those experiences, and I'll pretty much do anything to try to get those.
Exactly. That's why we play with the things we do. We bring in the stuff. We like do rituals. We do all these things to try to invite it because when you hear these stories,
and we don't recommend everyone doing this.
Yeah. No.
Common disclosure here: use your brains.
But you hear these stories like, oh, these kids play with these Ouija boards, and one of them got possessed by Zozo, this big demon. It's like, okay, that's crap because the Ouija boards, the name.
But Hasbro spelled backwards spells.
I can't think that.
Well, no, that matters. It's a game.
It is.
Take it as such. But like I said, we always revert to the back thing. Any device can have its implication. I mean, it really can. I mean, shit. In our own house, we were, for a couple hours, we were trying to figure out why fans were going on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's like,
we heard the whistling. But you never know what anything is.
Yeah,
right?
but to really sum, up what we're trying to, say in this hodgepodge of.
This is our first time, and we'll get better.
We want you to, open your minds to all possibilities. We want you to look at evidence, look at, methodology of, your quest to find something that is paranormal, with an open mind. I'm not just saying scientific. I'm not saying just ritualistic. I'm not just saying, fantastic. I want you to explore all the possibilities. You take from an investigation what you want. The problem is make sure it is something worth taking. So, go out in a field, explore everything and get something out of it, but get something out that you can share to other people that brings something to the table. I mean, that's my, whole concept of the paranormal. Let's like minds with similar, events and, activities that, let's bring it to the table and let's really have a discussion about it. And let's try to get proof of this paranormal or no proof. You know, either way, it's a win for, you know, humanity. Let's do it. You know.
No, I mean that's perfect. I mean, although it depends on what you're looking for exactly. Take out of it what you want. So if you're a ghost, I have common terms for everybody. If you're a ghost hunter, hey, and you're in it just for the thrill, stick to your cemeteries and your bird cages like we have in Tombstone. Stick to your places that are known haunted. Investigators are the ones that go into houses. So I mean, if you're looking just for the thrill, hey, get your thrill out of it. Get your excitement out of it. If you're actually trying to prove something, hey, let's work together. All right. I know
Absolutely.
paranormal unity is kind of like a myth, right? I know we believe in it. We're trying to work on it with everybody, but it's kind of like a myth because nobody wants to share. So we want everybody to work together and try to present something that share. So present your evidence, and if somebody else goes to the same place, compare evidence.
Absolutely.
Right?
I absolutely.
I mean, that's
We, you know, here at Paranormal Discord, we are always up for sharing information. If you're interested in any of our, you know, claims of paranormal or, you know, lack of claims of paranormal, you please, you know, visit our website. You know, say hello. We'll say hello back. You know.
remember, everybody, check out the website paranormaldiscord.com. There will be a lot of new updates coming up, and we will see everybody on the second episode. But before we go, we're going to leave you with the Did You Know? And the Did You Know is, or more maybe just a word of advice. Don't wear heels on investigations. Good night, everybody.